I'm often asked, what evidence would be good enough for you, arrogant one, arrogant atheist? What evidence would convince you of a God? And I'm tempted to say any fucking evidence, any piece, any whiff, anything you could point to at all. Let's start with a book that actually appears magically in front of everyone, that has the same doctrine in it, so that we can all agree. That would be a start. Stephen Law has a fascinating argument. It's really fairly simple, but when he lays it out, you think to yourself, my, why didn't I think of that? That he is convinced actually explains away the existence of God, because any evidence at all would probably be enough. If there were a God who could show some sign of himself, I think most atheists would jump right on board. At least, agree that it requires further study to determine, if this higher life form is just a terraforming alien who happens to be able to create life that turns sentient on his particular terrarium hobby table in some giant cosmos somewhere. There's all kinds of explanations like that that wouldn't necessarily point to an omnipotent being. There's omnipotence, omniscience, and omnibenevolence. So those are the three, characteristics pointed to in Law's argument. And I always thought omnipresence was one of them, because God is everywhere too. But if you take that there's an omnibenevolent God, you have the problem of the existence of evil. So, for God to prove himself in any kind of way, we take the concrete sort of evidence that would mean like a manifestation, basically, or some sort of measurable, quantifiable event. If God were to simply appear, that manifestation would certainly do. He could make an appearance in a public square, in a big city somewhere. Wait for the cameras to come. Just chill and make his announcement. He'd have to explain himself probably for me, to want to think that he wasn't just an asshole from another planet with a teleporter. Why? He'd have to explain childhood cancer and genocide and incest and what's the other one? Rape. Childhood cancer is always my favorite. I go to that first. I'm like, why would a loving God, do that to someone? God's got a plan. Oh, God's got a plan, then why would you pray to him to change it? You're so influential that God's going to change his plan for you? No, I don't think so. So, if God comes down and explains himself, he's going to have to include like why he let all this crap happen, and the answer is going to be something like, I was building another planet, several thousand light years from here, and I was just busy, quite frankly. So, sorry about that. In my time, it was just, a week or two, but I had to go do this because, priorities. And so there goes your omnipresence, right? If God can't be in our universe always to take care of us, then he's not omnipresent or omnipotent. And if he can't get rid of evil, or he won't get rid of evil, he's either not omnipotent or not omnibenevolent. And if he's, got any of those deficiencies, he's probably not omniscient either, all-knowing, because if he'd have known what was happening to his children he loved so much while he was gone, he probably would have raced back to deal like we all do when we get the call at work that your kid fell off the swing set at school and busted his head and you need to take him to the hospital. Right? You don't stay at work. You don't say, no, I'm sorry, I'm terraforming another universe right now. You get your ass over and you take care of your kids. So, the crap that's gone on, throughout human history, led the intelligentsia throughout the ages to understand, quite frankly, that there wasn't a God. Everybody educated has always known that, and has used religion to guide the rest of them. And most of them, I think, not most maybe, but at least when you get into it, if you're a politician, you try to do the best you can with that and not abuse it, because people have abused it, and they've abused it on both sides. You got the Stalin abusers, you got the Mao abusers who were atheists, who knew that religion was a unifier, and so they got rid of religion. And then you got the other side who uses religion to rally the cause to war throughout the ages. So, really, any kind of explanation from God would make me believe in his existence. Is the nature of him would depend on that explanation, I guess. So, I think that's pretty clear in Law. In the next podcast, he'll actually explain why the benevolent God theory, in fact, proves that a benevolent God can't exist by pointing out that the mirror, a malevolent God, clearly can't exist either because of the quantity of good that is around us and the beauty that we see. A malevolent God makes no sense, and that philosophy can, in fact, be flipped to disprove a benevolent God. So he's an atheist who says, in fact, that he knows God doesn't exist based on his philosophical argument. So look for that in the next stop, Rational City. And remember, we're always willing as atheists and skeptics to modify our beliefs based on new evidence. So, like the man said, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. So when God comes down and shows himself, we'll all be like, God, you're a dick, but nice to know you finally.